My favorite videos that we do. Okay, so we're on vacation if we love our work. You guys can hear me? Great. Everybody can hear me? Mandy's here? All right, cool. All right, so let me go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about me if anybody does not know about me. My name is Isabella Thatcher, and I've actually been in the marketing space since 1996, off and on. Back then, after getting out of the Navy in 1996, I was looking for a job in the accounting field, my billing, and finding nothing in my area, and went online to look for a job. And back then, a lot of the online marketing, they really wasn't starting anything back then, but there was a few, and I did find a couple back then, and dabbled in there, but they weren't really like we have now. We don't have the algorithms and that kind of stuff put in place back then. You still had to put flyers, and you still had to do the rooms. You know, get a bunch of people to come to your get a room and rent a room and host a pizza party, that kind of thing, and do a couple of in-house stuff like that. So I've been off and on doing the online marketing stuff since 1996, and I took a few years off back in 2002, and then really started diving into it a couple of years ago, and a couple of other online companies, and then couple of companies Daniel was actually with me on, and I followed him here into Heal. He talked about Heal, and I checked it out, and I loved what Stephen was putting together here. So I realized I found my home when he was talking about how you ground yourself and how you actually put your mindset first before you even start a business. And I hadn't even done that in the previous businesses, so that's why I was failing. So I went all in, and I knew this Heal company was the place for me, and I haven't left since. So why leave anyway? It's going to get better and better, right? So anyway, that's a little bit about me. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about another one of the scrolls from the greatest salesman in the world, and it's scroll number 9, and it's action is the name of the scroll. Scroll, yeah. All right, so now I know you've heard all of the professionals talk about action, and a few of us have told you what to take action on. But how do you get off your you-know-what and actually do it? I will actually have some few tips for you at the end. Hopefully that'll help you with that. So meanwhile, let me dissect the scroll here written by Mandillo here. He explains why this was one of the most important lessons to master to be a successful salesman. First, he mentions what his dreams, that his dreams are worthless, his plans are dust, his goals are impossible, and are of no value unless they are followed by action. And he says his procrastination, which has held him back, was born of fear. I don't have enough time. I don't know how to do it. Too tired. That's fear talking. So I now recognize this secret mind from the depths of all courageous hearts, says Mandillo in the book. Now I know that to conquer fear, I must always act without hesitation. And the flutters in my heart will vanish. And I know now that action reduces the lion of terror to an ant of equanimity. And that means mental calmness, composure, even temper, especially in difficult situations. And it's equanimity. That's the word. So a little English lesson there for you. So taking action slays that fear. Taking action gives you that mental calmness. So how many things are you thinking about doing or on your to-do list? If you adapted this simple scroll, you might be amazed at how much you would get done. Procrastination is a part of all our lives. For some, it's their motto for life, while others you barely notice. Think about the ways you can adapt the mantra, I will act now. Try it with a simple task. The phone that rings, and you see who's calling. You may not want to pick it up now because you don't want to deal with what you think you will need to deal with when you answer the phone. So you wait for the voice message. Then you might listen to the message instantly or wait while your brain is occupied wondering what they wanted. If you finally listen, then you begin to spend some time on this topic and then how you want to deal with it. Now you might address it now, which will save you a few days of stress that might not even be stress, but you will let the mind stir it up. So if you just answered the phone and dealt with it, then it's over, or at least it's being addressed. This is one simple thing in our life. If we procrastinate, it causes far more effort to wait than to just act now. You waste so much more energy if you wait and procrastinate. And who has time to waste all that energy? I'd rather be having fun with that energy. So I will act now. Procrastination is born of fear. But what is the solution to fear? We've all been saying it, and Daniel Cump's been mentioned it a couple of times, more than a couple of times. Action. Action is the solution to fear. So it's not we get rid of the fear and then take the action. It's action that takes away the fear. When we take action, and as we do it more and more, and with the right intent, which is to bless the lives of other people, then what we know is that we will have less and less fear. So if you have the same amount of fear, then you may want to examine what you are doing or not doing. Like if you take the action and you still have the fear, you might want to examine what you're doing or not doing or how you're doing it. Because there should be a direct correlation between the action that I take and the reduction of the fear in doing so. Give me 1 second. For some reason, Facebook is not letting me see the comments. So if you can still hear and see me, put a 2 on the chat room so I can know that you guys are still with me. I'm going to go ahead and continue. So, like I said, there's a direct correlation between the action you take and the reduction of the fear in doing so. So, never has there been a map, however carefully executed, to the detail and scale which carried its owner over 1 inch of ground. He has to take a step in the direction if he wants to go, right? Or better yet, put the address into the GPS, go sit in your car, and see if the map will take you there. No, you have to turn the ignition on. Okay, you guys can still hear me. Hey, Don, what's going on? So you have to turn the ignition on and put the car into gear and drive to the destination with the GPS as your guide. Sorry. So just like the videos in the back office of your dashboard, they're there to guide you step by step. But you have to take the steps in order for you to have a successful business. So you make the goals and you follow those goals with the tasks you do every single day. You get that key? You have to do little tasks, bite-sized tasks every single day to get to the goals that you want to do every single day and to achieve that big goal. Never has there been a scroll, even such as the one I hold, which earned so much as a penny or produced a single word of acclamation. Action alone is the tinder which ignites the map. Hey, Michael, what's going on? The parchment, this scroll, my dreams, my plans, my goals, into a living force. Action is the food and drink to which will nourish my success. That's right, Mandy. Take the steps. So I will give you 10 practical tips about taking action in a bit. But first, more on the scroll. He says, henceforth, I will remember the lesson of the firefly, which gives off its light only when it's on the wing, only when it's in action. So, in other words, the firefly lights up only when he's in action, when he's flying. Now, the light is a metaphor of inspiration. Most of us wait for the inspiration before we take the action, but it's in the action that gives us the inspiration. Then Og says, I will not avoid. Hey, Deborah, what's going on? Hey, Don. So, I will not avoid the tasks of today and charge them to tomorrow, for I know that tomorrow never comes. It's always today, or rather, it's always now. You get this? Right now. Right now. 24 hours from now, it's still now. 24 years from now, it's still now. It's always now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. And if tomorrow comes, it's always now, today. So act now. I will act now. I will repeat these words again and again each hour, each day, and every day until the words become as much as a habit as breathing, as the actions which follow become instinctive as the blinking of my eyelids. Just like when you do your affirmations in the morning, every morning, and it sinks into your subconscious mind, and all of a sudden you start doing things automatically. Like, I think it's 28 days is the magic number. If you do it over and over and over for 28 days, and it becomes automatic. Now it's all we have. Exactly, Rosalind. Hey, Matt, what's going on? All right, so you set the goal, you make the decision, and you take the actions. Do this enough times, and the actions become automatic. So you keep your goals in the forefront of your mind, and you focus on them when you awake every morning and on every hour during the day, and then when you retire at night. So the last time we had a heal live or heal event, they were talking about how they woke up every morning, they did their affirmations, and then they read a book, and then they did their push-ups, and they do like a routine. They forget who it was who talked about the routine, but then ever since that live, I have set this routine in motion. So it's become automatic. And it becomes easier and easier. And then you can just add a couple more things that you want to change depending on what goals you're going to get. You add or take away from which one you want to take away for goals. So if you guys are understanding what I'm talking about, just let me know by dropping a 1 in there that you're understanding what I'm saying. All right, so I'm stumbling over my words today for some reason. All right, so like when you're in the market for a new car and you think about that car day and night until you're able to acquire it. When doubt enters your mind, you say, I will act now. When you face temptation, you say, I will act now, and walk away from that temptation. If we all did this, what a better world we would be living in, just that alone. So if we all did that temptation, walk away from temptation part of it, when you're tempted to quit, you say, I will act now, and immediately you'll be empowered. When you act now, you will be immediately empowered. It takes away the fears. It gives you that calmness when you make that decision and act now. It takes so much energy and time and the buildup, the nervousness, just to jump over that cliff, to do that dive or whatever you're going to do. Like if anybody's into skydiving, I don't know if I would ever take that dive, but that's a metaphor. Thanks, Don. Thanks, guys. So if you just go ahead and do it without thinking about it, you will see it's so much easier and it takes a lot less energy just to go ahead and act on it. So only action determines my value in the marketplace. And to multiply my value, I will multiply my actions. I will walk where the failure fears to walk. I will work when failure seeks to rest. I will call on 10 when the failure makes grand plans to call on the 1. I will say it's done before the failure says it's too late. What he's saying is that the successful marketer will do what the procrastinator will not do. So you focus on completing your daily tasks instead of working up the nerve to accomplish the big stuff. It's in the daily small tasks that add up to the big accomplishments. So how often are you planning big deals and not focused on the smaller tasks? You see, the successful person sells the 10 while the failure makes grand plans to call on the 1. They plan and they plan and they plan to do the one thing that they're going to do and never get nothing done instead of just boom, 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 knocking them out. So for now, let's see here. Okay, so I've got this I've got this little poem, but before I get to the poem, I want you to write a couple of letters down for me. Okay, So for now is all I have, and tomorrow is reserved for the lazy. Write down the letter L for lazy. I am not lazy. Tomorrow is when evil becomes good. Write down E for evil. I am not evil. L for lazy, E for evil. Tomorrow is the day when weak becomes strong. Write down W for weak. I am not weak. Tomorrow is a day when failure will succeed. Write down F for failure. Now, what do those four letters spell? L-E-W-F spells loof. My friend Dave came up with a poem about being aloof. Don't be aloof. Now listen carefully. This is the poem. I'm not lazy, the loof said with a smile. It's all figured out. I got it filed out in my file. If I spend all day today relaxing, I'll bet I'll be rested and ready tomorrow to sweat. Me evil? The loof said with a grin. How can you utter such nonsense, such a sin? Wait till tomorrow, as idle minds would. It'll be out of my system tomorrow for good. So my productivity is down a little this month. And last month and last year, haven't you had a slump? Weak? The loof questioned. You insult me today. I choose to be strong. Is tomorrow okay? Success is the banner that hangs over my chair. I see it and I read it and I shout in the air. Can anyone hear me? I mean, is it this time? Anybody been here? A failure, no. Tomorrow's success will be mine. So we hear such repetitive oration from the loofs who love procrastination. Everyone knows the price they will pay, for when tomorrow is here, it will still be here today. Let's not be loofs, lazy, evil, weak, and a failure. Act now. When the lion is hungry, he eats. When the eagle has thirst, he drinks. Lest they both act, both will perish. I hunger for success, don't you? I thirst for happiness and peace of mind. How about you? Lest we act, we perish in a life of failure, misery, and sleepless nights. No doubt some of you feel this way now. The cure is action. I will command my thinking, my mind, and I will obey my own command. It's what we've been saying all along. Mindset, traffic, conversions. Success will not wait. If I delay, she will become betrothed to another and lost to me forever. This is the time. This is the day. You are the person. I will act now. We have dreams. We have plans. We have goals. All are of no value unless they're followed by action. If you tell yourself this in the morning and all day long and at night, I will act now for a month, then one day it will become late and you have a task you haven't completed and you will want to retire for the day, and all of a sudden you will hear, act now. That will be the real, authentic you talking. All the dialogue that is trying to talk you out of that is your unhealthy habits of thinking. Remember that site that I mentioned last week, thehabitfinder.com? Go ahead and take that. Find out what habits of thinking are dominating your voice, the voice in your head. If it's the negative, they're not you. They're not the real you. Learn your patterns. Metacognition. Metacognition is the cognition about cognition, thinking about thinking, knowing about knowing, becoming aware of one's awareness, and higher order thinking skills. Awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes. So go to that habitfinder.com and find out what yours are. We are living in our minds of fantasy, frustrated because things are not turning out the way we want it. And we are beating ourselves up. So the solution is making now your primary residence. I will act now. Be in action, be in creativeness, and at the end of the day, you get to celebrate. Create and celebrate. Create and celebrate and repeat. I will act now. Once you get this down, then you will hear your own real voice, the real you. Now, I've got 10 practical tips for taking action when you don't feel like it. You might want to write these down. So, the first one is localize the problem. So, a good starting point is to uncover what exactly is it that's making you avoid doing something. In most cases, it's because the task at hand is unpleasant, or because we dread going to do it. In other instances, it could be because the initial excitement has washed away and you're stuck in the most difficult part, the middle. 2, set up the stage. Now that you find a catalyst, work toward combating it by making your task impossible to avoid. In other words, clean out your entire schedule. Do everything else you possibly could do first, and then you end up stuck with this one thing and nothing else. 3, keep the end result in mind. If we're talking about something like making it an unwanted call or going to an unpleasant meeting, thinking about the long game greatly helps. Just think about how short a phone call it is and how it won't matter after a few minutes later. Or if you can't get yourself motivated or genuinely want to do this thing, then just look forward to it, the ending instead. So 4, find motivation. Real motivation is finding this little spark that might trigger your desire to take action. Set your eyes on someone that inspires you, and use this admiration for a starting point. Pick out the positives from a task and focus on them to build excitement. Maybe even plan a reward for completing the task. So that's finding a motivation. Or put on some music. That's what I do. 5, show commitment. The key word here is show commitment. If you're a person that values the opinions and views of others, your biggest advantage might be putting your goal out there for the world to see. To make yourself accountable. If you want to lose weight, for example, publish a post announcing your intentions on social media. Saying it to someone's face works too, but having it posted online is a lot more effective. After all, what is on the internet stays on the internet, and internet's forever. So, also hold you accountable so you won't have to go through with the task of actually losing the weight. So you have to go through with it. Hey Abby, hey Edmund. Alright, so make notes. That's number 6. Aside from commitment with the help of others, you can also do it all by yourself. Make some notes constantly reminding you of your goal, and leave them in a place you know you'll read them. Don't lose sight of the goal, and think about it on a daily basis. This technique will gradually lessen the weight of your task, and it will make it seem more achievable. Breaking this task into bite-sized pieces and scheduling them helps also. You've heard Daniel Kump, I don't know if you're on our team, you heard him talk about blocking, and that's also very helpful. You block out little time places to do these bite-sized scheduling tasks. So 7, of course, is start small. Failures are a part of life just like successes. Don't expect a huge result right off the bat. Start off small and gradually increase the difficulty. If you want to work out, start with a short 10-minute routine. And if you have to write a paper, tell yourself that you'll write 200 words today and 300 words tomorrow, and keep increasing the number. Number 8, this is my favorite. Find joy. Find joy in these small successes. Go into the task with the minimal expectations. When you manage to get those 10 minutes of exercise done, see it as a positive thing. In return, it'll boost your motivation and will make you realize that your goal is within reach. Taking the bite-sized chunks is the most easiest way to tackle that hard, difficult task. All right, so number 9 is accept the fickleness. Another important thing is to realize the fact that no matter how many tips and motivational exercises you will undergo, this is still a task that doesn't exactly fill you with joy. So if after a few days of good work you find yourself lacking in motivation again, this is not the end. Motivation is like a roller coaster. Take a break, repeat the previous steps, press the reboot button, and start over again. 10. Reach for help. Don't steer away from the support of others. Many times in our group that we get down that we're not getting the sales and stuff that we need, or we've put the more money and put more money and nothing's coming out. But you don't realize that in the back end, that Heel's going to be working for you now this month. They just started a new thing about going after those leads for you, and the more leads you have in the back office, the more sales you'll be getting in because those leads are still back there and they're still talking to them, and they're still your gold mine. They're still your diamonds sitting there waiting for you to make your sales later. So it's not always immediately that you get the satisfaction. So you reach for help if you're disappointed, especially if you have difficulties picking yourself up again. People you surround yourself with will be there to help you rather than judge you. Especially this Heal community. This Heal community is really awesome with motivating people and lifting people up. So the best advice I can give is to constantly keep your eyes on the benefits, to swap the negative thoughts out for the positive ones, and find some sort of reward at the end of the task's completion. And as Og Mandillo said in the book, I will keep my eye on the goal above my head. I will ignore the obstacles, the unhealthy habit of thinking. For where the dry desert ends, green grass grows. Act today. Celebrate your creation. Experience the green grass tonight before you go to bed. Get past the fear. Take the action. And experience the equanimity, the mental calmness, the peace of mind. Blessings to you all. That's all I have for you guys now. So it's time to heal. Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day. It's on you. Good night, everyone.